Okay, so what if I told you that your memories, they aren't actually in your brain? Today we are diving into a really mind-bending theory from philosopher Dr. Victoria Trumbull that challenges pretty much everything we thought we knew about where our memories live. Let's get into it.
It sounds like such a simple question, doesn't it? I mean, really, think about it. When you recall your first day of school, or, what you had for breakfast this morning, where is that information actually coming from? For a long, long time, the standard answer has seemed totally obvious. It's all in the brain. This is the model we all kind of grew up with, right? The brain is treated like this amazing biological computer, a very sophisticated, kind of squishy hard drive that stores our entire life experience as data.
And here's the official scientific version of that hard drive idea. It's called the engram. This is the theory that when you have an experience, it creates an actual physical trace in your brain, strengthening certain connections between neurons. So when you remember something, what you're really doing is just activating that specific piece of neural hardware.
Now, this entire idea is built on a really crucial piece of logic. It's called the localization thesis, and it goes something like this. If you damage a part of the brain and a person loses certain memories, well, then it follows that those memories must have been physically located right in that damaged spot. It seems to make perfect sense. But what if it's all based on a fundamental mistake? This is where Dr. Trumbull steps in. She argues that the whole storage model is what philosophers call a category error. We're fundamentally confusing the tool for the information it accesses. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates her point. Think about it. Footprints are physical traces. They're left by the act of walking. But the act of walking itself isn't in the footprints. In the exact same way, she argues, brain activity is the trace left by the act of remembering, but that doesn't mean the memory itself is stored there.
The radio analogy here makes the point even clearer. If you smash a radio with a hammer, yeah, the music stops, but you would never conclude that the orchestra was physically stored inside the radio circuits. The radio's just the receiver. Trumbull suggests the brain is like that radio, and memory is the broadcast it's built to tune into.
So, okay, if memories aren't in the brain, where are they? Dr. Trumbull's answer is pretty radical. She says they're not in any physical space at all. They exist in time. She builds her case on two incredibly powerful philosophical ideas. First, from St. Augustine, this concept of distension animi. That's the idea that time is a distension of the mind, like a stretching of your consciousness that holds your past, present, and future all together at once. And second, she pulls from Henri Bergson and his concept of pure memory. This is the idea that your entire past persists, automatically, completely. It doesn't fade away, so it doesn't need to be stored. It just is.
But this raises a huge question, right? If the brain isn't a storage device, then what on earth is it for? Well, in this new model, the brain gets a completely different job. Here's how it works. First, like we said, your entire past continues to exist. Second, the brain's main purpose is to help you act in the present moment. To do that, and this is the third and crucial step, it has to filter out the overwhelming flood of your past experiences. Finally, it allows only that tiny, useful fraction of memories that are relevant to right now to pass into your consciousness.
So here's the key takeaway. The brain doesn't produce or store your memories. Instead, it's a highly advanced biological interface. Think of it like a valve that carefully selects from the ever-present reality of your past to help you act effectively in the now. The implications of this shift are, well, they're profound, especially for how we understand our own selves and even the very concept of a soul. This table really puts the two worldviews side by side, and the contrast is just stark. You have the old spatial model, materialism, where the brain is a hard drive, the past is gone, and the self is basically just matter. But then you look at this new temporal model. Suddenly, the past is eternally real, the brain is a filter, and yourself, well, yourself is the entire story of your lived time. And in this view, the soul isn't some spooky ghost in the machine, it's something much more concrete. It is the deep temporal structure of who you are. It's the dynamic, living, enduring unity of your entire story, from your first moment to your last. In short, your memory is your soul.
So, why does all this matter? Well, for one, it completely challenges the whole brain as computer metaphor, which has huge implications for the limits of AI. It reframes our identity as the sum of our entire story. It suggests every single moment of our lives holds a kind of eternal significance. And, maybe most importantly, it offers a more humane, person-centered way to think about neurological conditions, not as a person being erased, but as someone who is struggling to tune into a past that still exists.
It leaves us with a final, really powerful thought to sit with. If your past is an enduring reality, and the collection of all those moments forms the very fabric of your soul, it kind of forces you to ask yourself, what story are you creating? What moments are you adding to that eternal tapestry?